The Scribe and the Spoken Word. Chapter 6. The Law of Resistance. What you fight, you fortify. Every force in the universe obeys one principle. What you push against pushes back stronger. Not because the universe is cruel, not because you are cursed, but because the resistance is a tension under tension. And attention is creative power. Energy flows where you look, but momentum flows where you react. The moment you resist something, you energize it. The moment you fear something, you magnetize it. The moment you try to avoid something, you lock it onto it. Resistance is not protection. Resistance is attachment disguised as defense. What you fear becomes your focus. What you focus on becomes your field, and what becomes your field becomes your fate. Not metaphysical poetry, mechanics. Fear narrows your perception until the feared object dominates everything. Scarcity makes you hyper-aware of loss. Loneliness makes you feel blind to connection. Insecurity makes you misinterpret everything as threat. Shame makes you see judgment everywhere. The world did not change. Your focus changed. Your scribe recorded it. Your field obeyed it. Resistance is the invisible rope that ties you to what you claim you want to escape. Why resistance strengthens the thing you reject? The mind cannot process negation. Tell a child, don't touch the stove. And what do they picture? The stove. Tell yourself, don't fail. And the image of failure becomes vivid. Tell your body, don't panic, and it tightens. Tell your heart, don't get hurt, and it closes. The scribe does not write what you resist. I don't want to be broke. The scribe records the emotional image, broke. I don't want to be alone. The scribe records alone. I don't want to be like them. The scribe records them. The law of resistance is elegant and uncompromising. Whatever image your resistance produces becomes the blueprint your scribe obeys. Resistance is survival, not sovereignty. The nervous system resists what feels dangerous. Your identity resists what feels unfamiliar. Your ego resists what feels uncontrollable. But here's the truth. You are not resisting the situation. You are resisting the feeling beneath it. You are not resisting rejection. You're resisting the pain you associate with it. You're not resisting failure. You're resisting the identity collapse. You're not resisting conflict. You're resisting the fear of being misunderstood. You're not resisting intimacy. You are resisting the fear of being seen. Every external resistance is an internal avoidance in disguise. Address the avoidance and the resistance dissolves. What you accept loses power when you embrace. What you embrace transforms. Acceptance is not passivity. Acceptance is liberation. Resistance says, this should not be happening. Acceptance says, this is what is happening. Sovereignty says, now I choose my response. Acceptance breaks the loop the moment you stop feeding the reaction. This is not about surrendering to suffering. It's about withdrawing energy from the illusion that resistance keeps you safe. How to dissolve resistance? You dissolve resistance by witnessing the reaction instead of merging with it, naming the fear instead of pretending you're angry or numb, breathing inside the tension instead of fighting the tension itself, speaking a higher word instead of repeating a lower one. Resistance only survives in unconsciousness. The moment you bring awareness to what you're resisting, the spell weakens. You stop fighting the image and start reauthoring. This is where the last two chapters interlock perfectly. the Scribe's recording of resistance. Resistance has a signature tone: tight, fearful, reactive, contracted, uncertain. When your tone drops into resistance, the scribe transcribes, "This is the reality she expects. This is the threat he anticipates. This is the future they are preparing for." The scribe does not punish. It simply mirrors the tone you're living in. Change the tone and the scribe updates the script. Why resistance becomes the doorway. Every resistance is a compass. It points to the belief that needs revision, the wound that needs interrogation, the identity that needs strengthening, the truth that needs speaking, the boundary that needs setting, the fear that needs witnessing. Resistance is the guardian at the gate of your next expansion. Not the obstacle, the indicator. Not the enemy, the threshold. Closing the resistance. When you understand resistance, you stop fearing life. You stop fighting shadows. You stop battling versions of yourself. You stop rehearsing danger. You stop feeding what hurts. And instead, you move with clarity. You speak with sovereignty. You breathe with presence. You respond instead of react. You direct instead of defend. Resistance is not a sign you're failing. It is a sign you're approaching the edge of your current identity. Where resistance ends, your expansion begins, and the scribe is ready to write your next becoming. Next chapter is chapter 7, The Law of Reversal. My book, The Scribe and the Spoken Word, and the second book, The Power of Codex, available at thesourceway.com. Working on a printed version now, that should be up in the next week or so. But anyway, I'm enjoying doing the readings. Big love.